اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق.
Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Welcome, Lisaan-ul-Qur'an, easier than English, our first formal lesson, the four properties of an ism. The key learning outcomes of these lessons are to introduce ourselves to the ism, one of the three parts of speech in the Arabic language, as mentioned in the introductory session. Now, every ism in the Arabic language has four properties. Without really understanding the four properties, you cannot really use them in a sentence or a phrase. So in this session, I'm going to introduce you to the four of the properties. In particular, one of the properties called i'rab. We're going to take a close look at i'rab. Now, i'rab, as far as English-speaking students are concerned, is unique. There is no direct equivalent to that in the English language, and therefore many students find it very confusing. Some even give up the study of Arabic because of the complexities they see around i'rab. Inshallah, we're going to approach it in a very simplified way. In this lesson, I'm going to introduce you to the idea of i'rab. Not only that, we are going to start filling the Muslim table. Again, one of the golden sets of vocabulary as mentioned in the introductory session. So we have a lot to do. Let's begin in Allah's blessed name. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The ism and its four properties. I'm sure you recall from the introductory session when we mapped out the Arabic language for you, we mentioned that there are only three types of words in Arabic. Every word in the Arabic language will either be ismun, fi'lun, or harfun. We are going to start taking a closer look at the ism in this session. Again, as a quick review, an ism in Arabic includes every type of word that is not a harf or a fi'l, i.e., it is the name of a person, place, thing, idea, emotion, feelings, etc. It can be, as far as English comparison is concerned, includes nouns, pronouns, adjective, adverbs, and much, much more. So it's a very comprehensive set of words. And one of your goals in studying Arabic is that you must be able to look at every word in the Quran and identify whether that word is an ismun, fi'lun, or harfun. I gave you three signs of an ism, and they are, number one, al. If you see any word with al, which is a definite article in front of the word, you know that word will be an ism. Secondly, we mentioned the tanween. Any word that ends with tanween will also be an ism. And the third sign, which is very easy for us to recognize, is ta marbuta. If you see that at the end of any word, you know that those three signs are exclusive to an ism. What I mean by that is that no verb, no fi'l or harf or particle will have these three signs. It does not mean every ism will have one of these three signs. It means that only an ism can. So we looked at also some examples of isms, a range. So for example, we got here Hamid. Hamid is a proper noun. We have Maryam, Makkah, Al-Qalam, the pen. We have Kutubun, books in plural, Haqqun, truth, and Ayatun, which is an ayah of Quran. So we have quite a comprehensive set of range of words here. You will note some of them have tanween at the end. For example, here, and you will also see al there, and then ta marbuta also. So these are just signs of an ism which you should be able to use and recognize from now, inshallah. They also include pronouns, and for again example here, a few given for you: huwa, he, here, she, hada, this, alladhina, those who. Includes also adjectives: kabirun, big, saghiratun, small, ba'idun, far, qaribun, near. And then we also have adverbs, for example, qabla, before, ba'da, after, bayna, between, and inda, near. So we got quite a range of words here. Of course, I could add more categories to this, but just to give you an example here to illustrate the fact that an ism is very, very comprehensive in the Arabic language, and it contains a huge sets of categories and subcategories, and therefore we're looking at this in our first session. Now, I cannot use a single ism in the Arabic language, whether it is to form a sentence or a phrase, unless I can tell four things about it. Four things. The first being definiteness, the second being gender, the third being number, and the fourth being i'rab. every ism will have these 4 properties. Now, the way I'm approaching it, it will sound quite strange to you as an English speaker. You might think, oh, there's nothing like that in the English language. No, there is. For example, every English noun will have definiteness, gender, and number. But Arabic has a 4th property, which is i'rab unique. So we're going to take a quick look at the English equivalent, just so that we can compare and contrast between Arabic and English. So as far as definiteness is concerned, gender and number, English nouns share the same thing with Arabic, except for the fact that i'rab is unique. There is no such thing as i'rab in the English language, or there's no direct equivalent to it. Before we go and look at the Arabic words, let's quickly take a detour with the English, just to give us a compare and contrast. We know that we have similar things in the English language. Now, I put here as 1, 2, 3, 4 different words in the English language. And as an English speaker, I'm 100% confident. Instantly, you can tell me 3 properties about that particular noun. Now, normally when you speak English, because you're fluent, you know the language very well, you don't need to think in these terms. But when you go to approach a new language, it's good to start from the beginning and take a step back to see what's actually going on in that language. Now, in English, if I said the word book, and I asked you the first question, when I say the word book in the English language, am I referring to a specific book, or is it any book? And this is called definiteness. By definiteness, we mean whether it is specific or any. Of course, you will say, look, the word book could mean any book, and so therefore it is indefinite. So I'll put an I there to indicate that is indefinite. The word book in the English language, is it used as masculine or feminine? For example, I say, he is a boy and she is a girl. Now, the word book, do we say he is a book or she is a book? Of course, you will say no. Why? Because it's neutral gender. So in English, we have a neutral gender. I put N there just to indicate that for you. Now, when I say the word book in English, am I referring to something, one book or plural, 2 or more? Well, the book is only one book in English, so it is singular. So you can see 3 things instantly you're telling me. Let's quickly look at the next 3 words. Queens. When I say the word queens, is it specific or non-specific? I'm sure you will say it could be any queen, so it's indefinite, so it's non-specific. As far as queens are concerned, is it masculine, feminine? Of course, it is feminine. As far as the number of the word queens is concerned, is it singular or plural? It is plural, so it could be 2 or more queens according to the rules of English. When I say the kings, am I referring to a specific set of kings or general? Of course, the word the means specific in English, so that will be a definite noun as far as English is concerned. And then we have the gender. The word kings, is it masculine, feminine? Of course, it is masculine. What about singular, dual, or singular or plural? You'll say it is plural. So it could be 2 or more kings. When I say the word Turkey in English, the word Turkey, I'm as in the country, not the bird. Is the word Turkey specific or not? Of course, you will say Turkey is specific, it's a proper noun, so it will be definite. Now, is the word Turkey used in the English language as masculine or feminine? You'll say no, it will be treated normally as neutral. And then we have the third question about it. Is it one or is it more than one in English? You'll say, no, it is singular. It is a proper noun. It's a specific place. So again, you can see easily now, you can tell me 3 properties of any English word I put. The reason I'm telling you this is exactly the same in Arabic. My argument with you is that unless you knew these 3 things about the nouns, you will not be able to use them. For example, if you're my English teacher and I wrote, she are books, or they is Turkey, you will not be any wiser, because I'm making a huge mistake here in terms of the nouns, pronouns, and in terms of singular and plural and gender, etc., etc., etc. So if you know the similar properties of the Arabic isms, then you will be, inshallah ta'ala, you will be avoiding similar mistakes in the Arabic language. So knowing the properties is absolutely critical. The good news in Arabic is that most of the information can be told by just looking at the word, even if you don't know its meaning. Whereas in English, we are reliant mainly upon the meaning of the word. So these are 3 properties of a noun, English noun, which alhamdulillah, because you know English, you can easily tell. We're going to look at exactly the same 3 properties in Arabic. Also the 4th one, which is unique, called i'rab. Before we move on to look at the i'rab, let's take a quick overview where we can compare and contrast between English noun properties and Arabic noun properties. The first and foremost, we know in English we have three. We have definiteness, we have gender, we have number, and the fourth one, which is unique to Arabic, we are going to call it i'rab. Unique to Arabic as far as English language comparison is concerned. Now, definiteness, there is no major difference between Arabic and English. We have definite or indefinite, referring to something specific or non-specific. Again, to make our studies easy and to save me writing a lot on the screen, I'm going to use a D when I'm referring to definite and I when I'm referring to indefinite on the screen until we inshallah ta'ala get into the Arabic terminology. In Arabic, they're called ma'rifatun for definite and nakiratun for indefinite. Now, gender, there is a difference between Arabic and English. In Arabic, we have only two gender. Every ism in Arabic will either be masculine or feminine, treated masculine or feminine. And the masculine terminology in Arabic grammar is called mudhakkarun, and the feminine is called mu'annathun. So again, we will use M and F. M for masculine, F for feminine. So please note this very important difference. There is no neutral gender in the Arabic language. For the sake of simplicity, every word would be used, for example, either as a he or a she. Whether I'm talking about the sun, the moon, the star, the pen, the table, the computer, everything in Arabic, every ism will either be treated as a he or a she, i.e. masculine or feminine, no neutral gender at all. There's a major difference between Arabic and English there. Now, in terms of number, we have in English singular and plural. Singular in English, of course, one. Plural is two or more. But in Arabic, we have a singular and we have a dual and we have a plural. Singular is called mufrad, of course, refers to only one thing. And muthanna, two, dual. And jama', which means plural. So again, to make things simple, I'm going to use S, then I for short, and D and U, and P with a small l afterwards for plural. So singular, dual, and plural. So any noun you come across in the Arabic language, any ism, will either be singular, dual, or plural. Whereas in English, it's either singular or plural. And that's again a major difference. So here in this screen, inshallah, you can compare and contrast between English and Arabic. Now we have the unique feature of the Arabic language called i'rab. There's not anything really in the English language that is exactly equivalent to i'rab. So we're going to take a look at this in this session to understand what is i'rab. Now, we don't really need to compare a lot with the other three properties, but this one we do need a little bit more on. Now, as far as the other properties are concerned, we are going to look at definiteness in the next lesson in detail. And the following lesson, lesson number 3, we're going to look at gender. I'm going to share with you very simple map with which you can identify the grammatical gender of every single ism that you're likely to come across. Again, a very confusing subject, inshallah. We'll try to shed some light into it, make it very simple for you. And then lesson number 4, we're going to start looking at numbers in Arabic, singular, dual, and plural. And again, there are complex number types as well, inshallah, which called broken plurals. We will also be studying them in forthcoming lessons. And in this lesson, I'm going to tackle the subject of i'rab, inshallah, to introduce you to it so that you can see how it is used in the Arabic language. And it is the most important topic in Arabic.
الذي علم بالقلم